Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, I'm in Boston. I have you ever have you been to Boston before?
Yeah, I just battled there this year.
Oh, really? Where?
It was actually in, man, I forgot the name of the town. It was a cutty little town outside Boston.
What'd you think of it?
It was dope. It was dope. I didn't really get to go around Boston much, but the crowd was dope. It was a fun battle rap atmosphere. The Boston fans are
Is
cool.
it kind of like the stand-up life, the battle rap life?
What do you mean?
Like being on the road traveling, like you're just like chilling in the apartment until the time to go, and then you have to like go all out, and then like you just go from like 0 to 100 back to zero again, you know?
Low key, I mean, both art forms are the only ones where it's just like your words and a crowd. Like there's nothing out, there's no music, there's nothing. It's just your words are moving a crowd, and that's the only thing controlling how people emote and react. But the battle thing is different because stand up, you're doing the same set everywhere you go, and battle rap, you're literally inventing a customized insult fucking soliloquy to a person that you can only say once. You have to deliver it perfectly, and then after it, you'll never do it again, you know?
Yeah. Is it easier to do people you like or people you dislike? Like, is it easier to write one of those diss soliloquies?
It's tough. Like sometimes the grudge helps you, right? Like you get motivated by like someone like for me, I don't really hate any of these people. Like we're all like a community. Like people build it up that is hate. But then a lot of people when they battle me, they'll talk a lot of shit online to like hype it up. And then I talk shit back, and then that makes the battle more anticipated and makes me reach a different like this one dude, Soulcom, this other Jewish battle rapper was talking the craziest shit, like, I'm gonna end this kid's career. He's gonna wish that he never stepped to me. And then by the time the battle came, I was just in a different bag because honestly, because I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, I gotta, like that, the fear of, someone trying to end your career, like then propelled me and then I ended up smoking him. But that's, a motivating factor.
Yeah, they did last night outside of Boston, they did the roast of Sam Buck. It was a bunch of comedians and then shout out Token. Token was on it too. And
Token roasted you?
yeah, bro, he did better than every comedian. I was
Whoa.
he was the only person that actually hurt my feelings. And I was
Oh,
like
shit.
I was like, damn, bro. I thought he was gonna be the one that was like nervous or whatever. But he fucking roasted my ass so much that like I didn't even prepare shit for him because I was like, I'm not gonna like hurt. I'm not gonna go in on him. And bro,
What did he hurt your
he's
feelings?
roasting
Give
every
me an
little thing
example.
about me. I'm like, God damn, bro.
Give me an example of one that stung.
Um, I don't know. Have you ever seen the videos I do with my grandma?
I don't think so.
All right, so like my grandma goes viral because she like reads rap lyrics. You know what I mean?
Okay, okay.
Like, this motherfucker is only famous because his grandma. If I was his grandma, I would hate him. She's probably in a nursing home and he's using her. He's like, this motherfucker got 10 million views, 20,000 followers. You know how many people that means saw him and didn't want to follow him? Like,
That's
just
hilarious.
roasting me and shit.
That's a bar right there.
He wrote them like bars, bro. Does anything ever hurt your feelings? Like,
Definitely. I mean, I grew up like getting bullied, so I'm emotionally prepared for battle rap. You know what I mean? Like so it's like nothing really like makes me want to sit in the corner and cry. There's stuff people say it's like like that one stung a little bit for sure.
what's your like soft spot?
What's my soft spot? Dude, I can't give out this game to battle rappers, man. What if they watch Honestly, anything that isn't true that people say, because battle rap is a rumory, gossipy place, so people will like say untrue angles about you, and then that's the stuff me as like someone who cares about what people think of me, like, that's not true, bro. That's not even true. That's what you want to say in the moment.
And then the more defensive you get about it, the
Yeah,
more
the
it
more
seems like
the
it's
worse it
true.
looks.
Yeah.
Now the
Uh,
key in battle rap in battle rap defense is just standing there stone faced, not saying anything, acting like it's not affecting you, even though it clearly is.
hmm Was it tougher when you were younger?
To like remain chill.
Yeah, like when did you get thick skin?
Honestly, when I was younger, I had thicker skin. Now I'm more in touch with my emotions. The younger me was just didn't care about shit. So I was just like, oh, but that doesn't hurt my feelings. But now I'm like, hey, I'm working on that in therapy. That's not cool.
How'd you start getting in touch with your emotions?
Hmm. It's like I'm still working on it, honestly, but definitely therapy, definitely going through tough times. Also
Yeah.
music too, like writing music is very therapeutic and you have to like I think to be a really good rapper, you have to be really in touch with your emotions and like understand how to convey them and articulate them. And in order to rhyme them, you have to know what's going on in there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like the BS is kind of like out the window in music. Like you can't really like bullshit your character too much like there aren't character. Like you have to be real and people will listen to you rapping about whatever if it's real.
Yeah, yeah, you got to be authentic, and that's super true in battle rap too, especially as a white rapper. Like, it's a lot of people try and come with gun bars and act like they're gonna kill you, and then in music too, people try and act like characters they're not. And in a battle, as soon as you present that inauthentic way, you're you're gonna lose people because people are like that's not him. So I feel like my strength has always been being myself at all costs.
Yeah. Back to we don't have to talk about the feelings thing, but I am I like to get in touch with my emotions
Oh,
too.
that's good to
And
hear.
I'm always like, because it's funny that you said it like almost was not detrimental, but it made you more like soft, you know what I mean? So was there
Yeah.
like a thing like I don't know like how recent of a thing is that or like therapy or stuff like that?
What do you mean? Like being
Like
in
how
touch with it?
recently were you wanting to get in touch with you know that Facebook post that or the Instagram thing you always see is like dudes take mushrooms once and start wanting to like start learning about emotions and feelings and
Oh, for
shit.
sure. That plays a role. I
Bro,
mean,
me too.
honestly,
So I hate it because it's true because I did psychedelics. So I was like, damn, bro.
yeah. I mean, honestly, as men, we're taught not to interrogate our emotions. We're taught to put shit in denial. And coming up in hip hop culture and battle rap, like it's not cool to show your emotions. But I feel like for me, it's always kind of been a part of my thing is like being very transparent
hmm
and you know, being able to like say how I feel. But also I think it's something I'm still working on. Like I think I still have that like toxic masculinity in me where I noticed it in my relationship, where I try and act like everything's chill. Like that pride, like I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm cool, I'm cool. And that's something I'm learning to, you know, express instead of pushing down.
Yeah, because that shit compounds just like practice. You know, like when you practice something so much, of course you get better at it, whether it's music or comedy or whatever. But also, like when you push it down, you just start like building up weird layers that you're like, oh, this isn't something that I can like change overnight. Like I've built all these like weird cycles that I didn't even realize I was in the middle of.
100%. Is that tough as a comedian?
I think it's good as a comedian, but it's tough for life. 'Cause like
Mm.
now anything bad that'll happen to me, if I can make a joke about it or get like an audience to laugh about it, I'm like, who gives a shit? Like
Right.
people are like that. I thought that,
It's a superpower. It's therapy being able to you're just like fucking you're trauma dumping on an audience and it feels great.
yeah. But then you kind of try to chase the trauma. You feel
Mm.
that in rap, like you try to chase the good time. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of, I don't know.
Now what I feel in rap is like writing music especially is like whatever I'm going through in life, that's what the music is gonna reflect. So like sometimes when I'm going through tough times, like my shit is doper, and that's not something good that you don't wanna chase hardship to make shit to make good music. But it's true, that's like comedy too.
Yeah.
Like I tried stand up for the first time a couple of weeks ago
Oh, really? Where?
in San Francisco.
How'd it go?
Uh, It went really well, man. It went really well. I was really nervous. Super different than anything I've tried. Like being on Wild 'N Out, like I did some bits and stuff and I do skits, but like stand up is really its own thing and I think it's gonna help me develop a comedic voice. I'm not really trying to like pursue stand up, but it felt like I was building a skill, but it went really well and it was dope to be able to exercise that muscle of like all this shit that I think is funny that I'm going through, make it into jokes and bits. Like it was a new creative release for sure.
What felt different about it that you didn't expect?
The pacing, because for battle rap and rap, it's all 4/4, you're on a rhythm and you're hitting the punchline and the crowd reacts when you know it's in the pocket. Comedy is like jazz, like it's more like in 6/7, like Flying Lotus, weird ass. Like you have to do it in like it's almost better to be off pace. And I noticed the first time I tried it, because there was two back-to-back shows for my homie special. The first time I rushed through it a little, and the second time I kind of had that off-kilter rhythm, let the joke simmer for a sec, and that made it funnier if you're like unpredictable with the timing.
Yeah. I've never made music. That's not my thing. But how I describe stand up is like each audience is kind of like the beat or like the instrumental, and you have to like
When you're riding their reaction.
whatever it is, but you have to, the audience is the thing that makes the first choice. Like they're in charge, kinda. Their
Right,
energy.
for sure.
You doing it before a special is crazy. Whose special was it?
My friend Mike Evans Jr., check him out. He's in my rap group, Family Not a Group, and he's like the comedian of the crew. And
He gave you a, that's a big chance doing it for the
it
first
is,
time. Oh, fuck
it
yeah.
is. It was a big shot, but I also, I think a lot of my fans like me for my comedy skits, like Barry the Bars Planer and all the dumb battle rap comedic things I do. So a lot of people came to see me do it because it's kind of like a natural progression, but
Yeah.
it was definitely scary.
How does doing the comedy affect the making music? Do you feel like you have to go more comedic or?
My music is never like comedic, really. Like like Lil Dicky is someone I feel like who kind of combines them, and like there's a bunch of artists like Lonely Island and all these people, you know. For me, like I'm not my music has funny moments and funny bars, but and because it's me, but like I'm trying to make like I'm not trying to make parody music,
Hmm.
but then the content and skits and bits I'm doing is like a whole different thing. And like it's interesting in this age where everyone wants you to be in a niche, like everyone wants you to do one video and just keep doing that. But I'm doing the opposite. I got battle rap clips, music videos, skits, So, but I think it makes me better at everything because the more experience, like uh doing stand up, I think is gonna make me better when I'm on Wild 'N Out, and doing Wild 'N Out makes my battle rap stage presence better. So it's like I think it all feeds into, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think you can kind of do multiple things anymore because you kind of have to do multiple things. There's like with stand-ups, there's no like straight stand-ups. Everyone has a podcast or something.
Right, exactly.
I guess with music, it's like you kind of have to be like a marketer too. Like you have to be good at cutting clips. You have to always be
Dude,
shooting music
it's so
videos.
true.
Like,
And I notice it's benefits like people like me and you, I feel like who have a feel for it. But some of my most talented musician friends who just like making music, it kills them because they're like, what's this content shit?
hmm.
But it's funny seeing people that you would never expect, like Bay Area rappers, like now their label is making them do fucking TikTok content and do the shit that, you know what I mean? It's like these guys
Yeah.
are but like that's the game right now. You got to be a fully multifaceted artist. to get people
But it
locked
will
in.
ruin certain people's like career because I think the mystique helps a lot. I've done a lot of interviews where I also am like, oh, this isn't good. Like having people hear you talk probably isn't good for your career in a certain way. Like I've been mid-interview like, oh shit, like I'm happy we're doing this, but this isn't like a good look for your brand, you know?
Why? You're getting too deep with them?
That or just like, yeah, like if someone portrays themselves so hard and then they're just
Right.
being like goofy, nerdy with me, some people might like it, but like definitely some of the harder fans are probably like, he
Oh
can't be
no.
hard if he's friends with Sam Buck, you know what I mean? Like,
Dude, so there's this battle rapper named Geechee Gotti, who's like a Crip Compton, super hard, super authentic, like really speaks for the streets. And me and him, he's the most goofy guy. We do all types of skits and shit. And we did a compliment rap battle where we were just being fucking sweethearts to each other. And that shit went hella viral. And people try and diss him in battle rap, like, man, you was hanging out with Frak. Like, how are you a fucking gangster? And he's like, man, shut the fuck up. But I think overall people like him more because they're like, this dude is tough as fuck. We know where he comes from. And he's just a fucking relatable, cool ass dude.
yeah.
So I think it benefits it, honestly.
Do you feel like the more, just going back to what you were talking about a couple minutes ago, do you feel like the more successful you get or the more things you add onto your plate, do you feel like that makes it easier for you to create music or is it harder? Because you were saying like when you're struggling, it's,
Mm.
you can maybe make better music.
Yeah. I think easier because I have more access now. It's like, you know, I'm doing
Yeah.
this series Foursquare where I do 4 bar back and forth with like my favorite artists. And when the series started, like no one was down. And then, a year later, like I'm able to like access way bigger artists to do features with some of the Bay Area rappers I've been looking up to my whole career. Like Wayne Brady was down to freestyle with me. Like all these things that felt like so out of reach are easier now. And I think that makes the music easier. But I think when it comes to solo music and locking it in, there is an aspect to that of like because I have so much going on, I haven't had as much time to like work on an album and like make it like a meaningful conceptual thing because I got so much other shit in the oven.
Yeah, because it's been a few years since you released the album, right?
Yeah, I haven't released this album since like post-pandemic.
Is that, how do you feel about that?
That's a good question. I was thinking about that recently because artists don't have to release albums anymore. It's like people are so attention span so fast that people just want to listen to a fucking 15-second song of a clip on TikTok or listen to one single over and over again. But for me, the way I personally take in music is still through albums. Like that's how I was introduced to music. When a rapper or artist or singer I love releases an album, I'll listen from track one to track the last track. So for me as an artist, knowing that's the way I consume, it's something a goal of mine this year is to really lock in and release a body of work. And I'm gonna do the Foursquare mixtape, which is basically all the Foursquares I've done on one mixtape. So that's definitely gonna come out this year. But also a solo project is a goal too.
That's cool. Have you been working on it, or like when you create it, do you create like a body of work? Like this is a piece, or is it
Yeah,
like songs together?
it starts as songs and then it kind of forms into a piece. Like the Foursquare mixtape is gonna come out and it's like actually the Stunnaman 02, the homie who did Big Steppin' Out in San Francisco, he told me he's like 4 squared is 16. So when you hit 16, you gotta put out a mixtape. I was like, duh. So I think I'm on like 13 or 14 now. So two more of them, the mixtape's about to drop, and I think that's gonna be a good way to like release a project again that people can listen to from top to bottom.
Yeah. Who else have you gotten on it?
Who else I got on it? Okay, I got Del the Funky Homo Sapien, probably one of my favorite rappers of all time. This dude's Seiji Oda, the gentle gig guy. I got 1100 himself, Wayne Brady. I'm trying to think who else would be people you would know, but
I
there's
know a bunch of different people. So like my shit's weird. My taste is very niche.
yeah, you have some characters on this podcast I've seen, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'll talk to you a lot of Bay Area rappers, but it's kind of moved beyond that. Like I got one with a cat from New York, Lou Castro. So and I think it's gonna be a platform that it's going to keep growing because it's just like an obvious thing, 4 bar back and forth, and so many artists want to feel that energy of going back and forth, and it's a good promotion, but it's also just a fun experience. Like when I write my solo songs, they sometimes take months to lock in and do it, but the Foursquare is like we have like an hour. The session lasts an hour. It's more free form. It's like having a conversation with music, you know?
Yeah. And I think sometimes that's when there is a time constraint on things, sometimes it can be better. Like you know how like Bun B and Static do those like 24-hour albums and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those shits are actually like really good. Like I'm listening to those more than like the Bun B albums that he put out before. You know what I mean? Like I'm like,
Right.
damn, they put out a great body of work in 24 hours.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's true. I think if not time pressure, just like collaborating with someone else and like the energy of like the first musical instinct, the first thing we think is right, just letting that breathe, like freestyle energy almost, I think makes for good shit.
Hmm. Do you smoke weed?
Uh-huh.
All right. Does that affect you freestyling?
It actually, I think, helps, but it depends. Like if I'm about to battle, since so much of it is memorization, I'm sober going into a battle. When I'm freestyling off the top, like getting words on a whiteboard in the crowd and people are like freestyling, weed is a little bit of like a superpower. I definitely have like ADHD or something, so being able to just like relax and just kind of lock in like Matrix style, I think it helps. But there is like a balance because if I'm too zooted, like if I'm crossfaded up there, then you start to lose track of, you just feel cooked and then you end up losing the plot a little bit.
Because I can't do improv. I used to do improv, but when I started smoking weed, I had to stop improv. And stand up, I feel like it helps because it makes you like you have to go slower. But for improv, you kind of have to be like on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
What do you
Yeah.
think what were you gonna say? Sorry.
No, no, you go.
I was just gonna ask you a dumb question. I was gonna say,
Um,
what's the last like perfect album you listened to?
Perfect album. Man, I don't think there's such thing.
Or like a great album from start to finish. What was the
A
last
great
one? Yeah.
album from start to finish. What came out this year? I re-listened to that Anderson Paak, No Worries, what's it with Knowledge. I really
Hmm.
like that project. Um, it's not my favorite Kendrick project, but GNX has been in rotation a lot. Uh, the Hiatus Coyote album they dropped this year. I don't know if you fuck with them.
Yeah.
I liked that. What's it called? Uh, Love Heart Code or something like that. What about you?
Perfect. All right. Do you know who DJ Lucas is?
Yeah, that's my boy.
Oh yeah, so that's a good homie of mine. He does a lot of live streams with me
Yeah.
because I live out in Western Mass with him.
Oh, so he's really speaking for your people over there, huh?
Yeah, he is. Well, it's funny. I didn't know you knew him. So when I was talking about like people rapping about really specific things, he's someone I
Yeah,
think about. No one knows what he's like. I know what he's talking about, but like
yeah,
no one knows what he's talking about, but people still listen to him because
yeah,
it's just you know it's authentic.
yeah. It's he's really talking that grimy white suburban shit that
Yeah.
you know it's really his life, you know. And
Yeah.
that's really what rap is, bro. It's like to me, it's like fucking like people describing where they come from, what their life is like, and you get to listen to a really good rapper who's really good at what they do. You enter their world. You're like, oh, this is what their neighborhood, their life is like, from a white dude in Western Mass to Nas rapping about, Queensbridge. Like that's the beauty of it, in my opinion.
Or like Griselda. I've spent so much time in Buffalo now with them where it was like when I went there, I was like, oh shit, this is literally what they're like. This is 100% real.
Yeah, do you get to go to their like compound and shit?
Yeah, I mean, they have shit all over like whatever, but I've been able to travel the country with them and they allow me to like
Really?
tour with them and make content, which I never thought as like
Do they
a
let you on
nerdy white
stage?
comedian from, West Central Mass that I'd be able to be like that I'm
That's
on like
hilarious.
this vinyl right behind this pole right here is I'm on two Conway vinyls. So those are the two
That's sick.
Conway vinyls I'm on, and then that's an SD-NAC and V-Don one that I am on too.
Do you get to go on stage and shit?
I have hosted a bunch of Benny shows. I just did a bunch of Benny and Boldy James shows, so that was pretty sick. And that's
Dude,
what I
I
liked about you too. I feel like I like the rap and comedy energy of like whatever, like a white dude who's not taking himself too seriously is like cool.
appreciate you, bro. Yeah, I'm definitely speaking from my own experiences.
Which
I
is
went to
funny
the
because you were saying you used to do woke. I was listening to an interview and said you used to do woke raps and stuff. And I feel like
I
that,
mean, I
I feel like that's so not opposite of what you do now, but like that's the shit like don't make jokes about it. You know what I mean?
You know what's crazy is that it's not like and that's good that you don't notice it because I actually still consider myself a conscious rapper and that's a really corny thing for a white rapper to be because a lot of time it ends up in the Macklemore school of like rapping about shit you don't know. And I think when I used to do conscious raps, I was rapping about like racism, communism, like that type of weak ass shit. But now I still speak about real conscious shit I go through that's happening in San Francisco, gentrification, but it's all shit I'm experiencing, you know? So
Yeah.
when people hear it, it doesn't sound like conscious rap. It sounds like, you know, a dude talking about what he knows.
Coming up in a city that has such a strong scene, is it hard? Do you feel like you get like or were like got caught in the sound? Like someone like DJ, there's no music out there, so he can kind of feel free and
Yeah.
to create.
The Bay Area is sick though because it's got so much, you know, like I came up on E40 Keek, Too Short, Hyphy movement vibes, but also like Zionized Souls of Mischief. Like there's this kind of like hieroglyphics, like ethereal, underground, soulful West Coast music, and they're both from the Bay and they both represent the Bay. And I think I'm kind of like the combo, you know, because I do the soulful shit, but I also rap on like more slapping shit and make more danceable music. And I think the Bay Area is like that as a place. It's a melting pot of hella different populations and vibes. So being able to combine them all is like Bay shit in itself.
Which world did you find first?
That's a good question. Musically, I think I like fucking high school dances, bar mitzvahs. You can't escape the hyphy movement. Like it's everywhere. And then I get to high school, you start going to parties, seeing the people thizzing and all that. But then also musically I was more attracted to like I'm like a MF Doom Kanye baby. So when I heard Souls of Mischief and I heard them rapping like my favorite rappers, but it's from where I'm from, I was like, oh, this is like my music. But I think they're honestly equally as influential on like my rap style, you know?
Hmm. How did you find it first? Did your parents show it to you? Was it like friends?
Hmm. Friends in real life, you know, the Bay is really, you know, you got all types of populations out here, so you come across it. And then I was part of this organization called Youth Speaks out here that does like poetry, hip hop competitions. So when I started freestyling like age 13, 14, I start going in real life to these competitions and I'm winning because I'm like good at freestyling. And like when I was like 15, 16, I got to open for Travis Scott as the award for winning and like got to open for Travis and like I was this white kid with I was wearing this big ass rope chain because that was the award was like MC Olympics champion rope chain, but I just looked like a fucking idiot because everyone's like no one had context for why this little scrawny white kid's wearing a rope chain, but going through those experiences and actually getting to meet young rappers from Oakland and San Francisco, like in real life shit, had a big impact.
That was like Owl Pharaoh days,
What's that?
the Travis era. Was that like
Oh
some?
yeah.
When
Yeah,
his
this
fans
is
were when he was crazy and his fans were crazy,
yeah,
like
no, there was mosh pits, and this is New Pairs. So he was actually co-headlining with Casey Veggies at a small ass venue in Oakland. So it's like this is way before he blew up, but good times.
and they were not receptive to you.
So this was actually a huge learning lesson. I come out rapping my songs with my rope chain. Everyone's like, "Who the fuck is this kid?" Then I end the set with a freestyle. So I'm like 16. I'm like, "Hey guys, like hold something up in the air." Everyone holds up an object. I freestyle about it. Then they could love me, you know? So from that point on, I start my shows with a freestyle, especially when I'm opening for a bigger artist, because they're like, let me show them I have skills and I can make a moment. Now for the rest of the set after, they're gonna rock with my music because they understand the
Yeah.
skills behind it, you know?
What was the worst show you've ever done? Have you ever
Oh man,
bombed?
but definitely. Man, there's been some crazy ones. I'm trying to think. Um,
And if
I
I can tell bad ones of me too if you get like because I've had some bad bombs too, so I know I'm not trying to be like laugh at you, haha. Like
nah.
I
I
got booed off
mean,
stage at Conway's festival. Like
oh shit! When you get booed off stage,
they didn't want to hear my bullshit jokes. They were like,
oh, they're like play some rap music.
well, they no, they thought it was T.I.'s Haha Mafia. So it was like me opening up for T.I.'s Haha Mafia. And then
Wow.
T.I. didn't show up. So it was just the Haha Mafia. And the
Okay.
audience was mad that T.I. wasn't going to be there because they thought they were going to see T.I. And then they were like, this kid, why the fuck is this kid talking about like going to the pediatrician? Like, like what the fuck? Like,
That's hilarious because you're just like a hilarious replacement for Ti.
yeah, right. Let's get this kid with 12,000 followers to go up there. Only white dude on the lineup.
Amazing. I mean, there's been freestyle battles where I fell off stage. There's been
That you fell
there,
off stage?
yeah, mid freestyle battle. And that was actually kind of lit though, because I got back up and I still won the battle. Um, there's been moments where like I opened for you remember like Krayshawn v Nasty, like white
Of
girl model.
course, of
So I
course.
opened for them in Santa Cruz, and it was just it was kind of lit, but it was just a cringe ass show because there was a bunch of like Santa Cruz white girls like saying the N-word and shit. And I opened for them with my little young conscious raps, and they were like not really too dialed in.
Why
There
were you
was
on that show, if you mind me asking?
I have no idea. I think I knew the guy who was throwing it, and he wanted me to come out to
They're
Santa
like
Cruz.
white rappers, put them
Yeah,
together.
exactly. Could you say the N-word, please? Make it more cohesive. But oh no, one of my first shows was actually opening for Anderson Paak at my college, and it was like alumni weekend, so there's a bunch of old dudes there, and we didn't really have that much money to pay him, so I was like, "Can I pay you in any other way? Like, can you need anything? Let me know." He's like, "Yeah, get me like some Molly and acid when I get here." And I was like, I don't have any Molly, but I could get you acid. And I just gave him some before the show, thinking it'd be like an after party thing. And they all took it right then and there and played like a whole set, just giggly off the shits. But it was lit. They killed it. But it was just like all these old dudes like watching Anderson Fox whole band just high, just tripping balls playing the set.
That's kind of legendary, though.
Yeah.
Did you
This
take
was
it?
huh?
Did you take some?
No, I could never perform like that, but it was definitely awkward vibes because the crowd was not expecting that.
Yeah. Some college shows are crazy. I think I saw Mac when he was like 17 years old, 16 years old, just randomly at like the college in my
Where
town.
at?
Fitchburg State.
That's sick.
Yeah, my mom had to bring me. I was like 13 years old or whatever.
For sure.
Yeah. But any shows where you really like any booze, like is that a thing in rap?
Yeah. There definitely were. I can't remember, but there definitely were. One
Yeah.
time, one time I did a compliment battle with this girl, and I was like trying to compliment her, but ended up saying something about her pussy or something about how like something about like you know how everyone was like during Trump, the first Trump presidency, everyone was like he grabbed a pussy and everyone's like pussy grabs back or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I said something about that, like trying to be feminist, but the whole crowd thought I was talking about her pussy. So they were like, boo, like a white area crowd was like, get this guy out of here.
Was
Damn.
rapping young, did that affect like being able to like live life a little bit? Like you were always creating?
Yeah. Dude, it's funny. Look, like I listened to my old album with my girl the other day, like high school vibes, like really like a decade or more ago. And it's crazy, like it's weak as fuck, but listening to it back, I'm like, this really like a time capsule for that part of my life. Like I've literally rapped for every year I've been alive. I could listen back to all my albums and like know where I was at during that time. And there's something cringe about that, but there's also some cool. It's like, you know, I can look back at every age of my life and there's a song to describe where I was at.
That's pretty cool. What made you go back and listen to it?
Oh, I think a Facebook memory or something like that.
I can't go back and watch any of my shit. I'm not that type of person.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
That is
Do you
pretty
have
cool though.
content like back in the day?
Uh, first time I did Kill Tony, first time I did comedy was on Kill Tony when I was like
No
19
way.
years old. I used a fake ID to get into the comedy store, and it was like
Oh
early
man,
when
you
they were
got
still in
close.
the belly room and shit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And you bought?
No, I had a good set, and then I went back and I bombed because I got cocky and I was like, I'm a drink. I had a fake ID, and then I bombed, and then I had to take a long break after that.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy. And you went, that was your first set, so you must have kind of got thrown into comedy at that point because people saw you and knew you, huh?
It was kind of cool. Yeah, it was crazy. I got recognized the next week, like in Boston, and but it kind of it fucked me up. That's why I said like being young, I guess maybe for rap, I guess I don't know. It gave me like a false sense of confidence because I was like, oh shit, this is how it happens, and then you're like, nah, you got to really grind, you know?
100%.
But you probably learned that grind early.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's there's both sides to it, you know, like because I was young, I got those cringe moments out the way. So now that I'm successful, I'm like accidentally media trained by all the dumb shit I've had to go through as an underground rapper, you know? So I'm
Hmm.
more mature and I've been through more. So it's like all these rappers who are kind of blowing up. Like I did on the radar and my shit did really like did good numbers. But right after a bunch of probably people who went on the radar who were going on there right after like as a new rapper. And then now they have all these new fans that like, what do I do? And now, you know, me now I think having experience after rapping when I was young, I'm able to navigate things with a little more like maturity.
On the Radar is probably very similar to Kill Tony in that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out Calvin and Gabe, but shout out Calvin. That's the homie.
Yeah. Calvin's a cool guy. Funny dude.
How did you meet DJ?
He was doing some shows out in the Bay with my friend Afterthought, and we met before I ever met him. We he was already in the studio writing a verse to this beat, and then After's like, "Frak, you hop on this," and I didn't even know who bro was, and we both are on this song. I don't know if it's come out yet. It hasn't, but I heard him rap. I was like, "Bro's hilarious. This is amazing." So we hopped on a song together before really ever formally meeting, and then I rapped. He was like, "Bro, you're fire as fuck." So we got to connect that way.
That's cool. I want to hear that track with you too.
Yeah, I'll have to put pressure on him to drop it.
Yeah, that's sick. It's so funny because I don't know. Hella people are like, a lot of white rappers say they won't work with other white rappers.
I've been through that. Like like G-Eazy is someone who's like shown a lot of love to me recently, being another Bay Area white rapper. And I'm scared to ask him to do a song, A, because I'm like, I don't want to use our connection to do that. But then B, it's like the Bay Area white guy with the other Bay Area white guy, it's like too pale and it's too predictable. But you know, it's like it's dope though, especially with someone like Lucas or someone from a different place. It's like two
Yeah.
from different areas talking about their life, you know. You really do this anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that was another dude from you did that show with Millie's that
Yeah. Yeah, the Kai Cenat shit. That was
yeah.
crazy.
How'd
That
that
was
shit
crazy.
come together?
Dude, this is a funny story. I don't think I've told yet, but so they all the other white rappers on there were like part of some casting call, like some LA like white rapper like casting call that they like auditioned for. But me, one of Kai's producers was a fan of battle rap. So he's like, if we're doing a white boy battle rap on screen, we got to get a real battle rapper in there. So they tried to get a couple guys like me, Big K, Thesaurus, but I was the only one who bit. So they kind of brought me in as a battle rapper. And then I get there and it was crazy, bro. I didn't know Millie's was going to be there. I didn't know anything. I just thought it was going to be like a cipher. And then they take away our phones for an hour, put us in this waiting room, and then they bring us into the mansion and they're like, Millie's is like, nah, we got to pair him up in battle. And I was like, oh, wow, this is not what I expected, but also is like low-key benefiting me hella tough. And then they just kept pairing me up with these different guys. And then the one other guy who could freestyle was this hipster bro from Portland. And we just ended up rapping for like an hour back and forth. Like it was crazy. But it ended up like, dude, I know it's a different media landscape because I was on Wild and Out, Sway, On the Radar this year. None of those things did numbers like Kai Cenat just being on there with that guy. He's like bigger than Oprah, you know?
And you didn't even realize.
Well, I didn't know him that much beforehand. I kind of got the DM and I was like, oh, I obviously know who this guy is, but I didn't realize he was doing a 24-hour a day stream Truman Show, like enter my life thing. And after I went on there, I got way deeper on him. I was like, wow, this guy is kind of a legend.
Yeah, what he's doing is incredible and really inspiring.
100%.
Like he like took over. It's like podcasts are insignificant now because of what he's doing in a cool way. Like it's like the next
Really, like
evolution
people
of
are
it.
doing it all live type shit. Like it's all
Yeah, it
live.
just feels more organic. It's like what's even more like more organic than an unedited live conversation when while you're doing other shit, you know?
Would you start like Twitch live thing?
Yeah, honestly, when I started live streaming on YouTube, that shit changed my life. Like
Is this live right now?
no, 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 no. We're not live
Oh,
right
okay.
now. Like when
Okay.
I started live
Has the
streaming on
podcast
YouTube.
started, by the way? Are we-
Oh shit. I didn't hit record. No, I'm just kidding. But like when I started live streaming, I made more money in a year of live streaming than I did for like 4 years of doing my podcast. And
Oh
I didn't
shit.
even like realize that was a medium. And Kai Cenat is a big like watching him do that. I didn't even realize it was a thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it was
Yeah,
like it's cool.
he's changed the game. He's changed the game and it's all about experiencing it live and clipping it after, you know? So it's like two in one. You're getting two forms of entertainment. It's kind of like battle rap, like we do pay-per-views and then you also get to watch the battle and analyze it. But Kai's making it different because it's one guy with every activity you could imagine, you know?
Yeah.
It inspired me for sure to do more shit like that.
So none of those other dudes were like actual rappers?
No, they were all rappers, but they weren't battle rappers. So they
Okay.
all thought
Because I
what
was
I
about,
thought was
I mean, maybe this is wrong of me, but what rapper you know is going to a casting call? Like,
you never been to LA, man. You never been to LA.
maybe.
It was the most LA NPC experience, bro, because all these dudes were networking so hard with no phones, so everyone's just describing their music to each other and being like, I'm like this mixed with this, like Post Malone, but like, I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And they all represented like it was like Noah's Ark of white rappers. Like everyone represented like there was like the MGK type white boy, there was like the Portland hipster white boy, there was like the conscious rapper dude, like every stigma of white man was in there, and it was so funny.
Oh my, that's and then you're like, I actually, yeah, that's a wicked funny story. That's cool though. That was cool that the dude knew who you were. I feel like battle rap is such a niche world.
Yeah, it is. But the fans are hardcore fans. It's like that dude, his name's Bake. Shout out him for inviting me. Like he was like hella hyped to see me there, and I'm like, dude, you're doing Kai shit. I actually got to hit him back because he was talking about doing more battle rap shit on Kai's stream, and I was like, we do those cartoons that's like ketchup versus mustard rap battle or like cat versus dog rap battle, and like
Hmm.
bringing an aspect of that, where battle rap is so niched out. But the idea of a rap battle between two big ideas is viral. Like everyone loves that. It's just the culture has so many inside jokes and slang that people don't get it. But bringing it to Kai in a way that's like very accessible would be sick to bring the culture to that more widespread angle.
Yeah, because it is. I like those really niche underworlds that the fans are so excited about, and then I like when it kind of breaks. Like,
Right.
like, I don't know. Like, I'm a big. Are you a horror guy? Like horror
Not really.
movies? No. There was this movie Terrifier that came out that
Okay.
was like an unrated super gore movie with like a $2 million plot and a $2 million like budget, and it came out the same week as Joker, and it sorry, I was gonna
Oh,
oh, and
don't
it
push
made
it.
more money
Don't
than
push it.
Joker. That's all I had to say. Oh my God. How did you get on Wild and Out?
That was another funny story of uh of really kind of Bay Area finessing, Jewing my way on there. But like they 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 also did a casting call for people with agents, and my comedian friend with an agent was like, LOL, they want me to apply for a while now. And I was like, could you send me the application link? And he's like, yeah. So I applied as my own agent, sent in a bunch of video of me rapping, and then like also battle rapping with the battle rappers who are on Wild and Out, because a lot of the people on there are battle rap talent who know me and have praised me. So I threw a bunch of videos on there. And then I got to go to the next audition, which was in person in LA. And it was pretty much all comedians, but it was a hip hop audition. We were battle rapping each other. So as soon as I got the mic, I cooked every single, there was like 60 comedians in there, and I just like went by everyone, giving everyone a bar. Then
Yeah.
there was another audition in Atlanta, which was a lot more like three to 4 days, like every day people got dropped, like that type of thing. And then we went right into rolling the show after that. It's pretty intense.
Has your brain always worked that way? Or is it like a craft you had to, a skill you had to,
Oh,
hone?
oh. It is definitely a skill, but it's something I think. Honestly, I taught freestyling in like schools, like as a job for a while to like youth in Oakland and shit.
That's such a not a Massachusetts thing. That's like, that would never happen in Massachusetts ever. Like,
100%. It's a very Bay Area thing, but it was a sick job. I just got to basically freestyle with high schoolers. Um, and it is a teachable skill. Like obviously, like I think certain people have that gene of quick thinking, but if you practice rhythm, flow, all that, you can do it. But definitely took a lot of work to get there. But it was like when I got to Wild and Out, it felt like I had been accidentally preparing for that moment my whole life. Like all these dumbass battles and freestyles and improv and all this shit I've been doing felt like it was gearing towards that moment, you
Yeah.
know.
Have you ever like do being around certain people make you nervous and make you forget it, or is it just something that you can turn on and off? Like, have you
Like
ever gotten too
starstruck.
starstruck to do it type shit?
Hmm. No. During the Kai stream, I saw 500,000 people watching in the Twitch, and I almost lost my train of thought a couple times. I was like, holy shit. But starstruck, no, like the people on Wild 'N Out and the celebrity guests felt like they were a part of the game. Like it's a very warm environment, not like very nerve-wracking, but very fun. So it doesn't feel too scary.
That's cool. When's your next project coming out? You said this year?
Yeah,
Like
Foursquare mixtape probably in spring.
spring? Anything else you got coming?
I'm about to drop merch this week. You can see I'm wearing the hat, the person, Frak the person. I think everyone's a person at the end of the day. You're not just defined. Sam Buck is not just the uh the comedian. You're also a person. You know what I mean? So I got hats and shirts dropping next week, and then beyond that, just gonna be doing music and content.
When's the have do you do like a music tour? Have you gone on tour just like you
Yeah,
solo?
no, not solo. I've only opened. So thinking about that, thinking about I just signed to like an agency for the first time. I've been doing this completely independent my whole career. So thinking about maybe planning some tours or like writing a screenplay for like a Frag variety show with battles and skits and freestyles and stuff like that. If we do it, we got to get you as a guest.
Oh, that would be sick. Well, congratulations on that for real. How old are you?
30.
Damn, so yeah, half, over half of your life.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
crazy. And that's cool that it when did you feel like it was starting to work out? Like actually work out?
This year.
Was there a moment?
I mean, like there like when I stopped working with youth and took it full time, I moved to LA and I was struggling. But that was another moment where I was like, I'm a full-time rapper and I'm gonna do this shit. But I think this year was the first year where I was like being on TV, being on Sway, those two moments, Wildin' Out and Sway happening this year even though the Sway did way less numbers than Kai and On the Radar, just like being with Sway and then Wyclef Jean happened to be there, so getting to rap for him, like that felt for my rap dreams. Like if I were like a lot of this shit has been side quests. Like While and Out, I would have never expected to go there. All these other things, Kai Cenat would have never expected it, you know.
Yeah.
But Sway is something I always envisioned for myself. So being able to do that in actually 1 year ago, like today, I think is when I was on there. That
Really?
like
Oh, that's sick. And Wyclef just happened to be there?
yeah, he happened to be interviewing afterwards, and Sway trusted me to the point where he brought him in for my freestyle and got Wyclef to give me words to freestyle to. I was like, big ups to Sway for that because he could have easily just kept the interview separate, but he was
Hmm.
like, "Fuck it, this kid's from the Bay. I'm from the Bay. Let's see what he does with this moment."
No, my boy Frank has met Sway and worked with Sway a little bit, and he only says not everyone I know says he's like the nicest dude in the whole world, and it's really cool to hear someone with that
And
much.
he's funny. He came up to me before the interview and trolled me a little. He's like, "This is your big moment, Frack. Don't fuck this up, man." Like, don't embarrass me. I was like, "Oh, okay." He's got the jokes too.
That's hilarious. Well, that's dope as hell, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, bro. I'm excited to see you. I saw Benny in Frisco, and there was a bunch of people dressed up as like joints and like in mascot
Oh
costumes. You know what
yeah,
I'm
on
saying?
the
I was like, were you one of those guys? But
No, 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 no. When he on the East Coast tours, I've done it because I'm doing stand up, so I just host the
yeah.
ones that they bring me. Was
Well,
Boldy at
next
that
time
show
you're out
too?
here, huh?
Was Boldy James at that show too?
I don't think so. I think it was
Okay, because
Benny and
Boldy James has a son who raps, who's like 13 years old, little Bojack,
uh,
and he's literally one of the funniest people I've ever met. Like he
really?
hosted the show in Boston with me at the House of Blues, and he's
Whoa.
literally roasting me like call me like Will Ferrell looking ass, like being like call me fat and shit, like just roasting me in front of like this huge audience at the House of Blues at 13 years old. I'm like, bro, this kid's gonna be a fucking us like he's gonna be huge, little Bojack.
Well, next time you're out here or I'm out that way, I gotta see you do some stand up.
Yeah, next time you're in Mass, let me know. I got you on whatever you need, and I'd love to. Yeah, there's definitely shows. If you're doing stand up more, Boston's definitely a place you could do hella shows.
I'll open for you, bro.
Do you want to do stand up more? Like, is that
Yes, but no, like to me, I'm actually trying to do more acting and like screenwriting. So to me, it's more like a skill building tool. Like I don't see myself as becoming a stand-up. But my set went kind of well, so now people want me to do it again. So I'm like, fuck.
did
But
you
maybe I'll
record
drop.
it?
Yeah, I got filmed by like the professional people filming my boy's stand-up special. So I might drop a clip and see if people fuck with it. But I'm gonna probably just do it like every once in a while.
How long did your was your set?
5 minutes.
Okay. See, that's perfect. 5 minutes is perfect.
Yeah, more would have felt really tough.
But anyway, man, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Much love, dog. Thanks for having me.
All right, peace, man.
Peace.